best way to advertise to actually get results with Facebook ads in 2025 is so different from what it used to be. And I can tell you this because so far this year, I've been managing hundreds of thousands in ad spend for a bunch of different e-com businesses all over the world, but also for local service businesses. And in fact, back in December of 2024, Meta's own engineering team stated that their own algorithm will work totally differently. And this new update to the algorithm has now been rolled out, and this is the reason why so many advertisers are struggling today. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what this update actually means for your business and how you can take advantage of the new algorithm to actually get results in 2025 going into 2026. And I'm not just going to show this based on theory. I'm actually going to go into my ads accounts for some of my clients and show you exactly what we are doing today to get amazing profitable results that are also scalable. Now, quickly, before we get into this video, why should you listen to me? Okay, so I live and breathe Meta ads on a day-to-day basis, working with multiple different clients all over the world, both in e-com and local service. And I also consult and advise for multiple different businesses, direct talking to founders, knowing exactly what they're struggling with and having a deep look into their own data. So I have a lot of understanding of what's going on right now in the market. I've also been in the advertising space for the last 6 years, managing millions in ad spend just on Meta alone, but also on Google Ads and other platforms. And I've worked directly with different businesses, understanding not only how these advertising platforms work, but how we can align the strategy that we use on these platforms with all of these different businesses and what their ultimate goals are. So I spent hours digging into this new article from Meta's own engineering team, really to understand what is actually different about the algorithm and how can I use it to my advantage. So without you having to go in and read it, I'm just going to give you the conclusion for what's actually relevant to you as an advertiser. So as you can see, the article is pretty advanced. I mean, it's not really tailored to everyday advertiser to understand this. And there's a lot in this article itself that is not really relevant for us. So let's skip all that and get straight to the conclusion that I've made. So this is Meta's Andromeda, which basically is their machine learning system. So with the new way the machine learning system works, it's essentially able to tackle a lot bigger data sets of creatives. And it's much better at matching creatives and ads with the users on Facebook and Instagram. So over the last few years, advertisers are applying way more creative elements into their campaigns, okay? More images, videos, different types of assets, right? Different headlines, different ad copies. And for the algorithm to really understand how to match these creative elements with users on Meta, it needed an upgrade so that the machine learning can actually be able to digest all of these different creatives and match them with the users on Facebook and Instagram. Now, as this update was rolled out, a lot of things have happened in the advertising space. And I'm sure you've heard that the new way to win with Meta ads is creative diversity, right? And a lot of people don't really tell you why you need so many creatives and why also the new way of targeting is through the creative itself. And this article right here explains exactly the reason why that is. Now, historically, there's been a lot of obsession about finding a winning ad. So when we've been doing the testing in the past, our whole strategy, and I'm going to be honest, even for my own agency and the way we work with clients, has been trying to iterate that one winning ad that is the one that's going to take the whole ad account to a new level, right? It's going to allow us to scale profitably and get a lot of new customers into our business. But with the new algorithm, that is no longer the approach you should take. And we're not using that approach anymore either. And when we went away from that approach, we've seen way better results with this new strategy that we're applying now. So instead of obsessing about finding that one winning ad and just creating iterations of the same best performer in the ad account, maybe you have one video in your ad account that you see is working pretty well and you want to just create another hook, maybe shorten the length, add another call to action, and just making these small tweaks. We're not doing that to the same extent anymore. What we're doing instead is we're optimizing for massive creative diversity. And that sounds like a fancy word, but what that actually means when we are testing different concepts, okay, a new type of video, a new type of static image, we want that ad to be so different from the other ads that it can tap into a totally different part of the audience. And it can then allow us to get results from a whole different persona within our audience. So let me show you a very clear example of what this actually looks like in an ad account. So I'm now inside one of my clients' ad accounts. This is by far the ad that gets the most amount of spend, and it's also driving the most amount of conversions. Now, when we look at the breakdown of the ad itself, we can see that most of the results are coming from 55, 64, and 65 plus. So a pretty old demographic. And that makes total sense because the angle of this ad is targeting people with poor eyesight. So this product that's being sold here is also able to solve this specific issue. But of course, it makes sense that the older demographic will resonate more with this angle, right? Where we're actually pinpointing this poor eyesight problem. But if we want to tap into a wider demographic, then we need different creative. So I'll also also show you another ad that we're running here. And this is the second best performing ad in their account. And when you look at the demographics there, you can also see that we're tapping into also a much younger part of the audience. The creative here is allowing us to tap into a wider range of segments within that broad audience that we're targeting. And this is essentially why it's now so important to really understand how you can use your creative to target these different segments. So as you can see, the key thing here is you need to use creative to tap into the different parts of your audience with the different unique problems that they have, right? So in our example, poor eyesight angle is working really well for the older demographic. And then we have a totally different angle for the other ad that I showed you, which is the second best performer in the account. And that one is way more just focusing on the benefits of the product, not necessarily the specific pain point of poor eyesight. So this is a clear example of exactly how to do this and why it is so important, because it allows you to go broad, right? Like broad targeting, but within that broad targeting, you're able to capitalize on these different segments that are relevant for the offer that you have. Now, I can't show you the specific ads for the brands that we are managing, but I can show you some other brands just to bring this point home. So let's look at some ads from this brand right here, True Classic. They're doing this really, really well. And when you look at all of their active ads, you can see that they're tapping into this specific strategy. They have a lot of creative diversity. So let's break it down. So as you can see, this ad here, right? It's a video ad. And as you can see, the hook here is my husband, 38, keeps dressing like he's in college. So here's what I did, okay? So first and foremost, the hook here is obviously going towards women that actually has a husband. So older demographic. And again, women specifically, because that is the people that would resonate with this text section on the hook. And then the video goes through and then it shows the product, right? And then I go ahead and show the benefit of t-shirt. Now this brand is selling t-shirts, right? Like that's a product that, you know, it's amazing that they're doing so well because there's so many t-shirts out there, but they're really leaning, their whole business model is their performance marketing and they're doing a great job of this. You go show the product, go to the website, right? Super UGC style video. And this one is tapping into women, probably 30, 40 plus, okay? Now we have a static image here that's targeting a totally different part of their audience. But this one is tapping into a whole different segment of the audience. It's super different from the video that we just looked at. Then you have another ad right here, right? Which is actually targeting males themselves, right? The number one shirt for bigger boys, okay? So this one isn't necessarily targeting fit people. This is more for the average, like a little bit unfit, don't feel super confident in most t-shirts, but this t-shirt is kind of like making them look better. And then we have another ad. And in the first frame here, you can see the number one shirt for guys who lift. So again, this is a totally different part of their audience. This is for the guys that actually lift. So they're tapping into that segment of their audience as well. Makes you look fitter than you are, like really focusing on fitness and hiding their gut. So again, you can see that this brand is really being able to tap into all of these different segments within their audience. So you have another ad, my man wears this t-shirt. So this is more for girls with boyfriends that maybe want to buy a gift for a boyfriend or something like that. Ad right here is then tapping into the younger female demographic. So an exact example right here of how you can do this. Here we have another ad again. First frame is showing me silently thanking my algorithm for flooding my husband's feed with True Classic again. So this one is targeting probably a little bit older women who has husbands. So with the new algorithm, creative diversity is absolutely key to have good performance and being able to convert at the high level all of these different segments of your audience. But one key thing here is creative diversity alone is not enough. Just pouring in a bunch of different ads that are tapping into different parts of the audience isn't enough. Most of the ads, even when you're targeting different segments of the audience, are probably not going to be performing well enough. So you still need to test and iterate to find winners within this creative diversity. So it's not as easy as just uploading a bunch of ads, okay? I wish it was that easy, but it's not. So let's look at the exact campaign structure you need to properly test and scale winners when you find them. So this is the exact top of funnel evergreen structure that we use. Evergreen just means that these are the campaigns that continue to run and run. It's not like promotional focused with a time limit on them. For that, we have another promo structure, which I'm not going to get into in this video. Now I just want to focus on that campaign that you continue to run and test and iterate on, okay? So the structure you should use is two campaigns. Number one, a scaling campaign, and then you want to have a testing campaign. So the yellow one is the testing, the green one here is the scaling. And the budget split for your total account between these two campaigns, I like to keep between 60 to 80%, sometimes even 90% on the scaling. And then for testing, you should allocate between 20 to 40% just for testing. It kind of depends on your business and the budget level you're at and how well your scaling ads are performing. If you're doing really well with a couple of ads, I think you should definitely put a higher amount of budget into the scaling campaign just to keep that consistent flow of results coming in. But you should always have at least 20% budget allocated to testing if you want to improve performance and find new winners. So let's start by looking at the testing campaign. So you want to use a CBO here, okay? So you want to set the budget on the campaign level. The budget type is of course daily, and bid strategy here should be highest volume. So at least every week you should launch a new ad set, which I call a batch of ads, because this batch should have a new concept of ads, right, that you're testing out. The setup should be just broad targeting, and you can potentially exclude existing customers if you have a lot of existing customers and you want to really focus this on top of funnel only, which I would recommend, especially when doing testing, because when you launch new ad sets, Meta will try to target, lowest hanging fruit first. And if you have a bunch of existing customers, we want to make sure that we're not inflating our results with them, so we can exclude them from the targeting. But other than that, just go with broad targeting, and then every week launch a new batch. What our sweet spot is 4 to 6 ads, but you can go beyond this. If you really have the capacity internally to be able to produce a higher amount of ads, quality ads as well, then of course do more than this. There is brands that are doing, 12 to 20 new ads per ad set every week, or even more frequent than that. So you can definitely do more, especially with this new update of the algorithm. You can do a lot of creative diversity and a lot of creative testing. Our sweet spot is 4 to 6. That's usually where we are able to have an intention behind every ad and keep that quality while also having sufficient volume. Now, for each of these batches, there should be a unique angle. So it should be focused on a specific problem, specific hook, a specific segment within your audience. So this really comes down to understanding what people actually care about with your product. Like, what are the benefits or what are the problems that are being solved for the different demographics, right? And then you launch them. And again, this is a CBO campaign. So likely when you launch a new batch, a new ad set, it will take a bit of time before this starts to get spent. So we need to be patient here. But the beauty here is you can just keep a bunch of active ad sets in the testing campaign over time. And once it's been running for a couple of weeks and you see that it's not been getting a lot of spend and it's not really pulling in the result, maybe had your average order value like 3-4 times in total spend, but it's not getting you the ROAS or the target CPA that you're looking for, then you can just pause it, turn it off, okay? Other than that, just continue to feed this one with new concepts every week at least. This is what we do, okay? You let it run, and over time, you're going to find winners. And by winners, I mean ads that are hitting your target CPA or ROAS, and it's getting the volume of spend, so we know that these results are reliable. Now, what volume of spend is required before we introduce this to the scaling campaign? That totally depends on the budget that you currently have on the scaling campaign. Point here is, like, we need to be able to look at this as a proper winner. It needs to be reliable. So it needs to have, I would say, at least a couple double digits of conversions. And in terms of spend, it should get at least, your average order value times 5 in spend before we can start to consider this as a winner, okay? So the next thing we do is we move this ad into the scaling campaign. And keep in mind as well, you're going to keep this ad active within the testing campaign. So we're not going to turn it off when we transfer it. We're going to keep it active in the testing, but also in the scaling. So we're going to move it over here. But what is really important is that you duplicate the ad ID to keep the social engagement on it, okay? So comments, shares, likes, those things, those are actually really important to get results from an ad. And if you duplicate the ad, put it into the scaling, but it loses that social engagement, then it's not going to be the exact same ad. It's going to take longer to get it to work again within the scaling campaign. So it's very important that you do this process properly. So let me show you exactly how you do this process. So when you find a winner within one of these batches that you're testing, so I'm just showing you here as an example. For example, in our case, we're seeing some good results from batch number 4, okay? And then we go and check which of these ads are actually bringing in the results. Then we check the cost per result, and if it looks pretty good compared to our target, the next thing you want to do is actually go into the ad itself, okay? So you want to click the charts, scroll down, and then check the social engagement in the bottom here, okay? So you see 221 likes or reactions, 35 comments, and 12 shares. This is definitely something we want to keep when we put it into the scaling campaign. So the way we do that is clicking the share button, so you can see the post on Facebook with comments. And then in the top URL here, you can see next to posts, you have an ID. So we can copy this ID, then we go back to the ad account, and then you go into the scaling campaign, okay? So we were now in the testing campaign, we now go to the scaling campaign, and then click on the ad set, go in here and click create. And then you would give it the same name, but winner, you would add winner next to it. So I'm just gonna add winner batch 4 as a name here, click continue. And then under ad setup, you wanna make sure you select use existing post, then scroll down, and then we're gonna select the post, okay? So select post, put in the ID that we copied, should come up, select it, continue. And this is now the ad that you would launch. And that's exactly the process that we're using. Now for the scaling campaign, again, the account budget for this, so looking at the total ad spend for your ad account, this campaign itself should have between 60 to 80%. So the campaign type here is Advantage plus sales campaign, and budget type is still daily. And then you have just one broad ad set. But again, we want to exclude existing customers. And then you put all your winners within this ad set. And the thing here, you can have up to 50 active ads. So over time, you probably will reach 50 active ads. But what we do when we start reaching that level, we just turn off the ones that aren't getting spent, because there's probably just a few of these ads that will get spent over time. Some of them are going to not perform as well anymore, and you're going to have some that get more spend than others. And at some point, it's going to make sense to cut some of them out and introduce new winners. Okay. Now there's also something known as ad fatigue. At some point, ads will stop to perform. So it also makes sense that you cut those and you add in new winners that you get from your testing campaign. So I've now shown you exactly what we're doing to get great results in 2025. I would highly recommend to implement this if you aren't already doing this. So as you can see, with the new meta ads algorithm, creative diversity is key, but creative diversity isn't as easy as just uploading ads. You need to have an intentional plan of testing and then introducing winners into your scaling campaign. And it's very important that you follow this framework in order to actually get good results. Now, a key step to making this work is making sure that every new batch is a new concept. It's a totally different type of ad, and it's not just iterations of the best performers. You can also do that, and I would highly recommend that you do create iterations of things that are working really well. But in addition to that, it should also very often be a totally new approach you're taking. So our rule of thumb in my agency, Strand Media, is that when we're creating ads for our clients, there should be at least 50% iterations. So if we're creating a batch of 4 ads, 2 of them should be iterations of what we see works the best right now. 2 of them should be what we call big swings. That means something that's totally new based on not just our own data, but what we're seeing in the market right now. So if we're working on a client that has a few competitors that we know are doing really well, then we always keep an eye on what they're doing to kind of get ideas for how we can test something brand new that might be performing well for them. But we also look at other industries and see what they're doing, and using that inspiration to see how we can take some big swings and test a new concept that we haven't tried before. And that is how you end up with this creative diversity in your ad account of high performing ads that are all scalable and proven to work. Now, obviously, there's no easy hack here. This actually takes a lot of effort. And if you are managing a business and you want to be more focused on operations and you think that this is just way too much work for you, this is why clients come and want to work with us. So if you're interested, you can apply to work with us using the link in the description of this video, and you can check if you qualify. Now, this whole process of finding these winners and getting your head around how you can actually tap into all of the different benefits and problems to end up with high performing creative diversity in your ad account. Now, if you found this overwhelming and you want to work with a team that can help you with this exact process, you can check the link in the description of this video and apply to work with me and my team. We create ads and manage ads for e-com and local service businesses all over the world. So if you're interested, you can book in a call for free and check out if you qualify to work with us. Now, also, if you have any questions to anything that I talked about in this video today, I answer every single comment from subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. And if you have a question about how this can specifically work for your business, or you're something that you're unsure about, just ask me in the comments below and I will make sure to get back to you. Now, I also recently made a video about how we were able to get amazing ROAS for one of our e-commerce clients using a strategy called white labeling Facebook pages. So this one is insane. Like, I was so surprised by how insanely better ROAS we were able to get with this simple strategy, and why not more people are talking about it. So you can click here, check it out. I think you will find it super interesting and valuable. And also, if you found this video valuable, make sure you leave it a like and subscribe if you want to see future videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.